welcome to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are here today with Ricky Green, no relation, and Keshaw James of Greenhouse Support Incorporated.
Yes.
Woo! Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Podcast. Thank you both for joining us. So let's jump right in. Tell us about Greenhouse Support and the services that you provide, because I understand that you two are part of a wonderful organization that provides services to the unhoused in the metro area.
Yes, so good afternoon. My name is Ricky Green. I'm the founder and president of Greenhouse Support Inc. Greenhouse Support Inc. was founded in May of 2021. There was a need in our community that needed to be met that I feel gets overlooked way too often. One of our main services is to bring actual resources and services to those that are displaced, those that are struggling, those are in poverty, and places that people don't talk about. Most of these places are places that people don't go to. There's little to no services that are in these places, and we want to highlight those areas, but not only just highlight them, but to bring service and resources so that it affect positive change, so that they can begin to come out of the situations that they're in and develop opportunities to sustain just essential life overall.
Okay.
What areas do you service? Do you just are you mobile, or is it one concentrated area?
So we are a mobile service. However, we have found ourselves falling in love with Decatur, mainly the Candler Road area, just because as we started our ministry and going out to different communities, one, they were so accepting of our service, just the appreciation that they showed, the enthusiasm, and the kids' joy in their faces. It was an immediate decision that this would be the community that we adopt, and this would be the community that we focus on. So that's where we're actually focusing on right now. However, Greenhouse will cover several different places, but this is our focal place right now.
Is Decatur. Are you finding a greater need in the Decatur area, or that's just where folks are more receptive? Okay.
It's most definitely there's a greater need there, simply because it's not being talked about. There's little to no resources for them to tap into, and there's not a place that they're close to that they can get to the resources in that area. So.
Okay.
Now, like you said, Decatur, you said Decatur, right? People say Decatur is where everyone's greater. That's the tagline, right? But it doesn't sound like they want to acknowledge, or that doesn't acknowledge some of the things that aren't greater. So tell us some of the things that you see in Decatur, and what type of support are you getting from the leadership in that community?
So to start off, let's just be honest about something. There's two Decaturs. There's a greater Decatur, and then there's a Decatur that no one talks about. And so it's divided by a street and a red light. If you turn left on Candler Road and go east, you walk into a greater Atlanta situation. You get off Candler Road and go west, you don't even realize where you at and what's going on. And people don't talk about turning right and go west. When we first founded this organization, the one thing that my staff works tirelessly on with me is to make sure that I don't get so locked into what people don't do. So to answer your question about,
well, you were talking about the leadership, right? Do you mean in the city of Decatur, or in the county, or on the state level? What level are you speaking of specifically?
As it pertains to the state level, there's zero response. From the city and county level, I would say this. We have made more connections with city leaders of Decatur County and other districts than we have with the person who actually runs the district that needs the help.
Okay.
But it becomes a situation where we don't want to put those people in a situation where they're arguing with their counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
We have reached out to the mayor of Decatur, not so much as a response to, no, I don't want to help, no, I don't want to be a part. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We just
Mm-hmm.
got crickets. So
Okay.
we are no longer focusing on what they don't do.
Okay.
It's about what can we do to continue to bring awareness without offending anybody. But it's hard because
Okay.
we cannot allow it to continue to happen. And I think that that's the difficult part of being an organization that looking for support, but you're not getting it, but you still have to be careful about the things you say and do.
Yeah. So you're providing, if you're providing resources for medical care, mental health care, housing. Talk to us about, if you could, Keshaw and Ricky, about how you're getting the resources to do that, and how you're meeting, how the needs are meeting the resources.
Okay. So first off, 100% of everything we do is being financed directly from each of my board members and
Okay.
the staff of Greenhouse. We have applied for different funding opportunities. However, we haven't been granted anything in the last 2.5 years we've been up and running, but
Oh,
that's
wow.
okay. There's a need there, and we do know that long as there's a need there, God will supply our needs, and we just gonna keep doing what we do. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we try to build a network of resources that these people can actually get to, or the resources actually come to them. So one of the main things that we do is we do a feed in there quarterly. We go out and we bring hot meals, essential items, just things that keeps them going. There are a lot of churches in the Decatur area that provide box lunches and things like that.
Okay.
However, we have 85% of that community live in hotels, which means that they're not even living in adequate hotels. So most of them don't have a microwave, they don't have a refrigerator, so they can't store the food. So going to get a box of food does not help them. Our stats from our research show that last summer when school was out, 1 in every 2 kids went hungry every day.
Wait. Yeah. 50% of the
Yes.
children, is that in the county of DeKalb or in Decatur,
We're
or
strictly
in that area?
talking about Decatur on Candler Road. When
Oh my.
school is out, whether it's summer break or holiday or the weekends, 1 in every 2 kids goes hungry. When school is in and things are going on, 1 in every 4 kids are hungry. Now,
Wow.
45% of the crime that's being committed in that area are committed by kids aged 11 to 14, simply going into the stores, stealing something to eat.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to provide for their family and get something
Just
to eat.
trying to simply eat. On average, each hotel rooms run each family about $412 a week. There's no extra money for food, for clean clothing, for grooming products. So you ask yourself, how do they get out of that cycle? Well, that's where we come into play.
Okay.
We're trying to put them in a situation where they can get out of this cycle and begin to take care of their families. Because once you get in that cycle, it's like a title loan. If you go put on a title loan, you're never going to get it back.
Right.
It's the same thing of moving into a hotel. You're never going to get out of there because there's not enough resources nor money to provide to remove yourself from that.
Yeah. And then the hotel space and where they stay is deplorable, right? Or haven't you seen some of the
It is awful. I can't believe that it's even being open. However, we have to be careful about pushing that envelope as well. Because if they shut the hotel down, then where do these families go?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's a double-edged sword.
However, we can require the landlords and the people who own that property to keep it up to specs. Correct. We all have to be accountable. You can't require people to pay $400 and they living in the slums. But these are the things that we need to know so that we all can advocate for that. And that's why this podcast platform is here. And that's why we're trying to elevate what you're doing. Because you did mention that you reached out to every person by letter, correct?
Correct.
And you got how many responses again?
None.
And how many letters went out?
We sent out 75 letters to every church in Decatur. We sent out a letter to each commissioner, each mayor, and the CEO of DeKalb County himself. And we haven't heard anything back from anybody.
Yeah.
One of the major projects that we're working on.
I saw that. I was about to say, Karen, you look stunned.
Yeah.
Because some of these people run, when they're running, they talk about affordable housing. They talk about the unhoused. They talk about children and food insecurity. So
we care about our children. We don't want them to go hungry. We're going to do X, Y, Z. And yet you haven't gotten any money. Nobody did a thing yet.
Yeah. Not only, even if the county or the city even if they didn't have the money, there could be some resources they could be able to connect you with. Even if the churches didn't have the resources, they might be able to partner with, maybe a few churches coming in together to say, hey, we can sponsor, this church can sponsor one family. That's what we can afford. We're a smaller church or something. Even if if there's how many churches did you say you reached out to?
72.
72. And if those 72 churches were to take
one
family, two families, to be able just to provide them with food, be able to help them with their hotel bill, for the month, even if it was a couple of $100,
hygiene, clothing. I mean,
that would make a difference.
Yeah.
So what we would tell y'all is, let's go back.
Okay.
So for Christmas, we have started an annual thing where we have a big Christmas event. We bring out Santa Claus, we got gifts, we got, just a whole variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, our operating budget is averaging us around $4,500 a month to provide everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where does that $4,500 comes from? It comes directly for the 12 people that represent Greenhouse Support Inc.
Wow,
that is amazing.
Most of the 12 people on my staff have accepted second jobs to help. Some of them go directly into their paycheck to help. And they all have made me so proud because they have took my vision and they have made it grown. And we went from just pulling up in a van, passing out food, to actually preparing every meal ourselves, preparing all the hygiene bags ourselves. We get great support from Soldiers Angels. We get great support from Kroger's. But outside of that, it's very limited to what we get. But we believe in the principle that if we do for others, God will do for us.
Amen.
And that principle just simply means that take care of everybody else and don't focus on yourself, and God will continue to provide. And that's our motto. That's what we live by. That's what we are built on. And so this organization is only going to grow from here, even if that means taking our own money to make it happen. When we first started, we hired a grant writer. She requested that we pay her $1,000 and she get 2% of all the grants. It's year 3. We haven't seen one grant, nothing. So, we allowed it to stumble for a while. Then, I said, we're going to take the $1,000 loss and move in stride. We can't get locked in on those type of things because for me, it's the devil trying to distract us from doing the mission. And to save our community from people that really don't care. Now, you made a point that when people go vote, that they talk about that these are the things that they're focused on. Well, I've seen in the last 2 years, in 2 rounds of elections, that you come out with all these rental vans, you load up all our residential displaced individuals, you give them a sack lunch, a t-shirt, you take them over to the polls, they vote for you, you drop them off, and they never hear from you again.
Wow.
I cannot.
Wow.
I cannot.
I told you this brother is so real.
I cannot.
I love it. Facts.
Again, we won't name drop because it doesn't help. But I would say this. You cannot hold a seat for 19 years and say that you are fighting for your community every day. You have to ride past these people every day to go to your office. You have to encounter these people every day that you get gas. You have to encounter these people every day that you stop by the local McDonald's. You know, I feel bad for the business owner because they're between a rock and a hard place. These people have pinched tents in front of their buildings. They have gone through the garbage. I won't say harass, but they aggressively go after the customer for money. They call the police, but at what point there's nothing else they can do?
Yeah, that's
so
right.
What is next? It has to be a plan put in place. The problem is the people that are in charge that write the checks doesn't care about the plan in place. Now, we were introduced to someone that we can't name, but it gave us an insight that says, as long as there's poverty in that area, the neighborhood is rich to the investors who come in and build and push them out. So basically what that means is they're buying the property over there for penny on the dollars, and they just push it right out, and they still left in no better situation than what it happens to. You know, someone just bought the mall over there, and from my understanding, the mall pretty much was given away.
South Decatur.
In the aspect that it was and it was penny on the dollars. So what does that do for the community? Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And I guarantee you that wasn't public, or who's going to know about it to come and advocate when you go to these public hearings when they having sales. It's supposed to be on the agenda so people can come and advocate for
that mall
opposition.
The South Decatur Mall, I believe, is privately owned.
Is it?
Yes.
It was privately owned. Yes, privately owned.
It was privately owned. It was privately owned, but it was getting public funding.
Okay.
How's that possible?
It's privately owned, so that means it's getting public funding. So that's our tax dollars.
That's absolutely correct.
Oh, okay.
But you sold it without our knowledge, though, to an investor
what I'm saying.
Who could do whatever it is, and then bought the adjoining property to build condos and new restaurants and stuff. If I can't afford $400 a week for the hotel, how in the world can I move into a $2,800 a month apartment?
It wasn't meant to be.
It's not meant to you. Right.
My point exactly. So then it becomes, what's next? Well, we know what's going to happen next. The property value is going to go up. The hotel owner going to sell the hotel. They're going to tear the hotels down, and the people are just left out there with the rubbish.
Yeah.
Right.
And we wonder why.
Go ahead, brother.
We wonder why that we continue to see the streets filled every day with people sleep at the bus stops, sleep in front of restaurants. There is no shelter to go to.
No,
there is no place to go lay your head.
No.
If it's cold outside, if it's too hot outside, then we may open up a church or two for you to stay for the night. But then you got to leave.
Then you got to leave.
It's temporary.
I was fortunate that when the Super Bowl came, one of my paying job is I own my own security company.
Okay.
So I was fortunate enough to work with a company that did a lot of Super Bowl activity, and I was on the committee that did the security for the Super Bowl in different aspects. The Metro Atlanta received $8.5 million from the NFL to simply say, we would like for you to remove all the homeless people in the downtown Atlanta area for 2 weeks. So that it's not caught in camera shots. It's not interrupting people who coming in for the games. So they put all the people on buses, took them over to the Adamville Rec Center, provided them with pizza for breakfast, pizza for lunch, pizza for dinner, some accommodation for showers and clothing, and it roughly cost them less than $1 million. Where did the other $7.5 million go?
That's something good to look into. That's not new. This is not new to Atlanta.
It's not.
Were you here in the mid-90s, right before the Olympics? Because I came in 94. and Techwood homes and Capitol View homes, all of that was torn down to make way for Olympic venues and things like that. And then high-end housing came in. So all those people who lived in subsidized housing in Atlanta that was around venues for the Olympics, they all got dispersed, because the idea, the what they were told was that they were going to rebuild, like Capitol View homes and some of the other places, Techwood homes. They were going to rebuild those and have like mid-income, low-income housing, mixed income housing. So when they rebuilt in those areas, the people couldn't afford to come back. And then they'd already moved out to DeKalb. They'd already moved out to other places, Clayton County, Gwinnett. They'd already moved. And so there'd be no incentive for them to come back into the city where they could no longer afford to even live.
Right.
Correct.
When I came here and when I came to Atlanta in '94, I had an apartment on Peachtree Street, 710 Peachtree Street, and I was paying $455 a month for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. They have now turned those apartments into condos. So yeah, there's nothing affordable in that.
I don't know why people keep throwing that word around, because it's all relative, right? It's affordable to the person who's building it, but it's not affordable to the person who has to live there, because $1,700 for 1 bedroom that's 16 less than 600 square feet. And you have people with 1 and 2 and 3 kids. I mean, like, really. First, I want to make sure we say this multiple times. How can people donate and support you? Can you please give that information out? I do want to say that a couple times throughout this program, please.
So they can go to our website at greenhousesupportinc.com. It's several buttons on the website that you can click to give. I do know a lot of nonprofits use Givelify. We are registered on Givelify as Greenhouse Support Inc. We're also on, it slips my mind. I know it's Givelify. We got PayPal, and we got Stripe.
And we want to make sure people don't get confused. There's some other folks that's similar to your name, but it's Greenhouse, one word, right?
Support. And when you see the one word, the G and the H will always be capitalized.
Gotcha. Okay.
greenhousesupportinc.org.
Yes.
No, it's the website is greenhousesupportinc.com.
.com. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, this. Yeah, got you. That's the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then how can people sign up to volunteer?
If you go to the website and you look at the top of the tab, it'll say, I would like to become a volunteer. You just fill out the form, hit submit, and it'll come directly to myself or Keisha's email, and we will contact you any events that we have going on. We are working hard now to advance our website. So we are trying to get to the point where everything is current. I think it's current up until the Easter program we just had. So we're getting ready to have a new event on May 6th. And I'll let Keisha tell you all about that event since it's her event. But we're super excited about it.
Hello.
Hey, Keisha.
I'm usually just here to make sure Ricky doesn't spend too much money. So I'm all about the program. Correct.
Well, you are an important piece, honey. To make sure that budget is in order, honey.
Our Mother's Day program is basically geared to residentially displaced mothers, just to give them some love, show them some love, some acknowledgement of things that they won't get while they're, residentially displaced, living on the streets or wherever they may be able to find shelter. It's difficult enough being an individual, male or female, that is residentially displaced. You don't know, where you're going to sleep. You don't know if it's going to be safe. You don't know if, your last little bit of earthly values is going to get stolen. And to have children added onto that is an even greater burden. The last event that we did, which was our Easter event, we spoke to a young lady and she was talking about how, she felt so insignificant and she felt so dehumanized because she had children and her children were watching her even though they were her reason to keep going to get out of the situation. She was staying in an extended stay that was really horrible, and she just scrimped and saved and did everything she could, and she was able to get into a Section 8 apartment. So she was able to move out to a better situation, so to speak, but she still had a sister that was in a shelter. And, she took as many people as she could into her home, but with Section 8, they have rules and regulations, and there's only so many people that you can have in the residence with you. So just being able to say, it's Mother's Day. We just want to acknowledge all your hard work, everything that you do on a daily basis, just getting up every day and putting one foot in front of the other, not only for yourself, but for your children. So that's pretty much the focus of the Mother's Day event that Greenhouse is taking part in.
What day is it again? What day is it?
May 6th. May 6th. It is Saturday, May 6th from 10 to 2 at the Candler Event Center on Candler Road. It's Ember. It's 3336 Ember Drive, Candler.
So you're bringing the event right to the community that you're serving. I love that.
I know, right? That's very important.
Yes.
So all of our events are done at the calendar because we want to be able to provide it for them in that community. So one of the projects we're working on now is a summer program. It will go for 8 weeks, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the focus of this is to work with them on their reading and math skills, but most importantly, make sure that each kid get breakfast, lunch, and each family that's represented there will take a meal home.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Every Friday, the kids will go on a field trip to a place they probably wouldn't normally get to go to. So we're working tirelessly to make it happen. We sent out a lot of sponsorship letters. Unfortunately, we haven't received anything back. We did get a few letters back, and one letter in particular disturbing that says, it sounds like y'all doing a great thing. However, it's bigger than just the kids, and so at this time, we cannot provide any funds. And I just thought that was such a cold-hearted response. But I will say that at least they did respond.
What in the world? I want to say something else, but Lord have mercy, get out of here. It's bigger than kids. Did you hear what?
Yeah, I heard.
I mean, I understand. I respect their perspective, but when you think about the fact that what happened in Sandy Hook with the kids, what happens in schools on a daily basis with kids getting shot, and the legislatures, the government officials justify the need to still not ban these assault rifles, are you really surprised by that answer?
When I hear Ricky say that the response was that it's too big, there is an African saying that I heard before that says, how do you eat an elephant?
Right.
One bite at a time.
That's right.
So if I don't even start trying to chip away at my little corner of my world and take care of this of this area, you work on that area. If we all took a little piece, just a little piece, we can make a difference.
Get in your lane, do what you do best, and run with it, and do it the very best you can. Give it your all. Do as much good as you can to as many people as you can, as often as you can. Period. That's all you can do. I also wanted to ask you, brother and Keshaw, do y'all have some other visions on where you want to go down the road? Do you have some projects that you can share? Some things that you want to add to the programming that you have?
So what we're doing right now is really a small portion of what we have designed Greenhouse to be. Our ultimate goal is to have a facility that will take these families out of the hotels, put them into our facility, and, lack of a better term, help them rebrand themselves and start over. But they will start over in a form that they can afford. It will give them food every day. It would give them job training. It would give them a place to live without the stress of how do I come up with the $400 a week. And what we have to do is build the person from the ground up again. You cannot go to the next level until you restore your joy again. You cannot go to the next level until you have a peace of mind again. You cannot even go to the next level until you can have a decent meal with a good night's sleep and a hot shower. We do this every day of our lives. And we take it for granted that we can go home, sit in our air conditioned place, take a hot shower, eat a nice meal, cut on the TV. Do you know in most of these hotels, you pay $410 a week and they consider that what they consider a basic room. If you would like a TV, a microwave, and a refrigerator in your room, those items are extra $50 per item a week.
Wow.
So most people don't even get to watch television every day. There's no getting up in the middle of the night and go get a cold glass of water. So we have to go back now and help them find their confidence again. You wouldn't be shocked at the number of kids that we talk to from ages 5 to 12 who already mindset of I just want to die. How can we allow this to continue to happen? How can we say that every day I may or may not eat, I may or may not have clean clothes? It's like the basic things they don't have. When I went and spoke to this organization, someone turned me on to the organization. They get several $1,000,000 a year from the federal government to provide food to kids during the summer and things like that. So I go there to their office. I fill out the application. The first thing they tell me is, one, your organization has to be at least 5 years old. Two, you haven't had a certain amount of money in a banking account. I'm like, wait, stop. That's not the purpose of nonprofit. And honestly, that's not your place to tell a person what to have with money that you receive yearly from the government. So the alternative is we are to partner with another organization in that area that provides the meals. Well, the closest organization in that area is the Boys and Girls Club. But you want me to fill out a book on each family. Well, we don't know what that family dynamic is. We don't know how many people we're going to encounter every day. So because I can't give you a specific number, you don't want to provide the meals. That doesn't, because this is free money that is given to this organization to disperse to other nonprofit organizations, but they have created their own criteria in which they will release the funds.
Because none of the criteria is attached to the money when it was given to these organizations.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
You're not the first person that I've been told. You hit me over the head with that whole 5-year-olds and don't want to live. That just took me to a whole space. But you're not the first nonprofit who has communicated to me that there are funding programs that will give you money, but you have to show us you have X amount in your bank account. Well, why am I here then? Why would I come to you if I already got it?
If I had it, I wouldn't have to come to you.
Right.
That's correct.
It's a barrier. It's a barrier. And then you have other nonprofits who get millions of dollars every year, every cycle. And then there are other nonprofits doing equally as great work.
You can't even get their foot in the door.
Man, they can't even get $100. You can't. So for me, from my lens, it's enough money to go around. And just because you spread the money doesn't dilute the value of what you guys are doing who constantly get it. It's just enough to spread around. And when you operate in a space of lack, scarcity, out of fear, you're afraid that if you help somebody else, it's going to take away from you. But God provides enough for all of us. And that's what we all have. So I'm prayerful that your program will continue to get blessed and get the resources that you need, because you're right out here in the trenches helping people who need the resources. And don't you provide temporary housing, or correct me, like tell a little bit of the service that you do provide in addition to the food.
So what we do is we put a resource list together, and we give the resource lists to the individuals and families to go where the services should be given to them for free.
Okay.
However, what we've been noticing is they go to these places. We're not open today. You got to have an appointment. Or we only seeing the first 10 people. Well, if I took my last $2.25 to catch the bus over there to get something that should be open, it should be ready, available for us. Because again, each county, each city, each area is allotted certain amount of money. So where is the money going if these people in these communities are not getting the money?
Okay. And so how is your organization? Is that the same way that you're connecting folks to medical care and mental health care?
Yes.
Provide the list of providers? Okay.
Yeah, so we provide a list of providers. What we do is we are trying to bypass the list now and going directly to the providers themselves. And we're trying to create a way now that we can have the providers come out maybe once a month or quarterly to just provide service just in that area without having to jump through the hoops of everybody else trying to put us through, because clearly that's not working, and it's designed for it to not work.
So this might be a question for Keshaw. Are you looking to have you moved to like a case management type of a system with the families, or is that something that if you're not doing it now, are you looking to do that with the families?
That's something that we're looking to do with the families, and it'll be incorporated more as when the summer program kicks into gear, because we'll have more access to the families and the children on a daily basis to be able to form that more consistent relationship, because it'll be an 8-week program, where we see them continually on a daily basis. So that's definitely in progress.
Okay, because I would imagine that the case management mode of providing services would help your organization kind of track the needs to the resources and actually make sure that the resources are being provided if you've got that case management style in working with these families.
Yes, absolutely. Which is why we're looking at, doing that during the summer program and then continuing it throughout the year.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. So you're trying to address mental health, substance abuse, group therapy, single individual therapy. Am I missing anything? Short-term, long-term housing?
And just the basic needs right now of food and home insecurities.
Okay. Because I also remember reading on something that you're providing the word, that this is Christian based. And so we cannot leave that out. So
absolutely not.
Either one of you want to speak on that?
Mr.
So
Green.
When I started this organization, I woke up one morning and I said, something ain't right. And at the time, my fiance said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm not sure." I went on about my day. Next day, I woke up, same thing. And I realized that God was giving me this vision. And to be totally honest with you, I was like, I don't want to be in the midst of this fight. I don't like what's happening, but I'm that type of person. I get emotional and get upset, and it just wouldn't work. But when I finally accepted the vision and accepted the assignment from God, it's been mind blowing, and it has changed my life tremendously. Not only are we affecting change in the community, but it's starting to affect change in our everyday lives as human beings. It helps us to be more appreciative. And none of this, absolutely none of this, is done without God providing a way. Because I'll be totally honest with you guys, I don't know half of the time how we're gonna get the money for this. It's just been it's been a fun roller coaster ride. I will tell you that.
Won't he do it?
I know. Hey,
won't he do it?
That's right.
Yeah. So how it happens is my security company made a huge leap last year, and I didn't understand why. And so as I began to understand and begin to study and realize God provided the work for my organization through my security company. So we got blessed to elevate our lives, but at the same time, we had enough to give away.
When you give him your best, he multiplies that.
Hello.
He multiplies it.
Absolutely.
She'll forgive her.
Absolutely.
Give him your heart.
So, and that's where my staff come in at, because I give y'all a fun example. For Easter, we bought roughly about 1,500 eggs, and all the eggs were either stuffed with candy, toys, and some of the eggs had money in. I wanted to do real eggs. Everybody on my staff was against it. And so that's where the humility come in, that I have enough respect for them to respect their input. It's never about me. It's never about one single person. It's truly about a team of people taking a vision and putting it back where it needs to be. And that's why I kind of stay behind the scenes, because I don't want it to never be about me. It's solely for the work of the kingdom and to move the vision forward. And that's what I want the focus to be on always.
Amen. And on
that
note,
I know, right?
I don't think we need to say anything else after that.
You should always start with the Lord and end with the Lord.
Yes.
And we in the right space, honey.
Yes.
I am so glad.
I just want to extend an invitation to you ladies to come out and join us on May 6th for our Mother's Day event, where we're going to love on these ladies. My team and I have put together some awesome gift bags for the moms, so we're bringing our A game to show them as much love as we can. And we're having a Father's Day event in June, so we're challenging the men to put together their Father's Day bag to show the dad some love. So please feel free to come out and join us May 6th.
Okay.
As we show these moms some appreciation for Mother's Day.
And what time is it going to be on the 6th?
It's from 10 to 2, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
So we're going to help and volunteer. What time would you want us there?
9 a.m.
Okay, 9 a.m. And the address again?
3633 Ember Drive. It's the Candler Event Hall.
Okay, Candler Event Hall.
Girl, you ain't said nothing but a word. We love supporting our community, honey. We are there.
We'll be there May 6th.
Yes.
Thank y'all again so much for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Well, we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.